Last time, I showed you how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the front-end components, the parts that the user actually sees. Next, I'll show you the back-end, which is the logic which actually makes the website work. This part the user does not see. So first, I'm going to clear up this file. So for this project, I'm using PHP for the backend. Now, to run PHP code, first off, the file has to have the extension .php. Next, I need to do this. PHP code runs in a PHP tag, which starts with this and ends with this. Now, there's a lot that you can do with PHP, and like with HTML and CSS and JavaScript, if you know what you want to do, but don't know how to do it in PHP, just look it up. Now, a useful function is echo. Now, what echo does is it basically puts stuff onto the page. So, for example, I could do this, and if I go back to the browser, what I see is the very text which I echoed onto the page. You can also echo HTML code onto the page. For example, I could do this. Within the quotes is a p tag, which is red, and it says this is a p tag. So, what happens when I go back to the browser? What I see is this is a p tag, and it's red. To make a variable in PHP is slightly weird. So this is how you do it. First off, you start with a $, and then the name of the variable, and then the value. Now, PHP is loosely typed, so the type of the variable comes from the value which you assign it. Note also that lines in PHP must end with a semicolon. Now, if I wanted to echo this variable onto the page, I could do this. Now, if I go back to the browser, the same thing happens, but this time I'm echoing a variable which has the HTML code for this here. So yeah, that's basically how to run PHP code. Similar to JavaScript and CSS, you can have PHP in a separate file, which you then link to a PHP file. Also, PHP tags can be placed anywhere on the file, so they don't have to be like right here. What I could do is put this at the very end, and it would have, well, a similar effect. For example, I've moved the PHP tag to the very end of the file. Now, the thing which is being echoed to the page will still be on the page. The only difference is that where it is will be different relative to the structure of the page and where the other page elements are. So, for example, what if I put on a paragraph tag right up in the body? What I should see is this is in the body, and then this is a p tag right below it. So I'm going to go to the browser now, and that's exactly what happens. Now, what if I did this? I'm going to move the PHP tag to the very top of the page. What I should expect is this is a p tag at the top, and then this is in the body below it. So I'm going to go to the browser, and that's exactly what happens. So far you've seen a single page. What if I have two pages and I want to navigate from one page to another? First, I'm going to clear things up. Now I'm going to make another page. now I have index.php and secondpage.php. So how do I get from index to second page? One way is to use a form. So this is what a basic form looks like. You have form, and then you specify the action, and the action is basically the page that the form is linking to, and then the method, which I'm going to explain soon, and then you should have a name which is unique, and you should have an ID which is also unique. So this form, I want to link to the second page. So here, within the quotes, what I need is the file path to the second page. And here it is. Note that since we're talking about linking a page here, the file path rules also apply. Now that I have this, what I need is some way for the user to actually, interact with the form. So, forms generally need a submit button. This is what a submit button looks like. This right here. So now, before I go to the browser, I'll say that the value here is the words which will appear in the button. So I'm going to go to the browser now. And as you can see here, there is a button that says Submit Form. Click that, which takes me to the second page, which right now is blank. But you can see in the link here that it took me to the other page. This brings me to the method. So right now, the method of this form is get. Now, what I'm going to do is make an input just so there is some data to be transferred to the other page. Here, I've made an input containing some data that I want to send to the other page. Note that the ID, there is an ID, and there is a name, and the values are both, the same. This is a good idea to have the ID and name being the same, just so you know what is what. So, now, I'm going to go to the browser. Now, as you can see here, I see test data. That's the input that I made. And I'm going to go Submit Form. And take a look at the link here. Localhost secondpage.php, and then a question mark, and then form data, then an equal sign, then test data. Where did I do that? Well, form data was the ID and also the name, and the value was test data. So that's where form data equals test data comes from. So basically, this is what get is. When you pass data through a form using get, the data which is passed through the form will appear in the URL, like it does here. The other method is post. So what is post? I'm going to go back to here, and then back to the code, and then I'm going to change get to post. Save that, go back to the browser, refresh, and then submit form. And notice how in the URL, the question mark thing is gone, and it's just secondpage.php. Well, this is what post does. Now, with post, the data is still sent, except it does not appear in the URL. So why does this matter? First off, post is great when you want to keep things secure. For example, passwords, right? You don't want a password to appear in the URL. The problem with post is that each link is not really reproducible. For example, I'm going to go to YouTube and click on a random video like this, and notice this here link. Watch, and then V is equal to this thing here. Well, this is get. And if I wanted to go to this video without having to look it up, I could just copy this link here and then paste it into a tab and go to it directly. Now, if this link here was post, then this is what it would be, and I can't really go to that specific video because it's not specifying what the video is. So with get, it's actually possible to directly go to a customized unique link. With post, you sort of can't. So that's how you can navigate to another page using a form, and also send data. So now, how do you retrieve the data that was sent? Well, with PHP, it's actually really easy. First off, note that the method of this form is post. Now I'm going to go to the second page and then put in the boilerplate stuff, and then put in a PHP tag. Now, recall that the form was post, so I can literally just do this. $, and then post, and then the ID is form data, and then I'm going to echo this. Alright, so let's see what happens. I'm going to go to the browser, refresh the page, and submit form. And test data appears because I've echoed the input here that was sent by post. Now, what if the form was not post but instead get? So I'm going to change the form to get, and this will not work because the method is get, and I am retrieving post right now. So let's see what happens. Whoops, go back. And nothing. So yeah. And, as you might expect, to retrieve data sent by get, you just go $_ and then get, and then the ID or name, because I usually make them the same, so yeah. Anyways, so $, get, and then the ID or name of the form input. So, going back to the web page, I go back here, refresh, submit, and test data. So yeah, that's how you retrieve data sent through a form with post or get. Now, a form is not the only way to navigate from one page to another. You can also use a link, like, hold on a minute, a link like this. I click on Gmail, and it takes me to Gmail. So to make a link, this is how I do it. First though, I'm going to remove the form. So, making a link. This right here is a link. It's an A tag. And within the href, you simply put the path to the page that you want to link to. And bear in mind, this is linking a file, so the file pathing rules apply. Anyways, let's see what happens when I go to the browser. So now I see test link. Click on that, takes me to second page. But can a link pass data? Absolutely it can. I can do this. So after the path to the file that I want to redirect to, here, I put a question mark and then the name of the input that I want to pass to the other page, and then equals the value that I want to pass to the other page. In this case, the name of the input is form data, which is the same as this input here. So what I should see is test data on the second page. So let's see if that happens. So I am on the index page. I click on test link, and look at that. In the URL I see form data equals test data, and I see test data, which is echoed onto the page. So that's how you can use links to navigate from one page to another and also pass data through links. And note that when passing data through links, the method is get. Alright, so with PHP, the third method of navigating from one page to another is by simply redirecting through a PHP function. First, I'm going to remove the link. This is how to redirect to another page in PHP. This function here will automatically redirect from one page to another. And you specify the page that you want to redirect to here right after location. And again, because we're linking a file or a page, whatever, the file path rule also applies. Now, when using the redirect function, the redirect happens automatically as soon as the page loads, so I don't really have to do anything. But what I want is some way to know when I get to the second page. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the second page and then put in a header that says this is the second page. Now I'm going to go back to the browser, then go to the URL, remove everything here except localhost, so I go to the index, which then automatically takes me to the second page. So that's how PHP redirecting works. Can you pass data through a PHP redirect? Absolutely. Just like with the link, the A tag, I'm going to put a question mark and then the name of the input that I want to send over, and then equals, and then, whoops, I don't want quotes, and then the value of the input that I'm sending over. So let's call it test data, and let's see what happens when I go to the browser. So once more, I'm gonna go here, remove everything except localhost to go to the index page. And I am now on the second page, and I see test data, and if I go to the link, I see form data equals test data, which I had passed right here. Now, note also that when passing data through a PHP redirect, it also uses get. So that was a quick intro on how to use PHP for backend stuff, and also how to navigate from one page to another and send data. Now let's go back to YouTube for one quick moment. Notice here, it says 15 videos and 21 subscribers. Well, this is information which is stored on the servers. And so, where is it stored and how do you store it? For that, what you need is a database. And databases is what I'll be talking about next.
Wait, I need your help. Listen, I don't have much time. Please, if you like this, like and subscribe. Oh no, they're on to me.
I see you. You can't hide from me.
Oh no, not the fish, please! Ah!